All right, this is the claim evidence reasoning micro lesson. This was something that we did as a review for the exam. And what you have to do here is look at this picture, and you're going to answer this question: what biological molecule is pictured above? So what you want to do is really analyze this question and pull out of this question first anything that you could define or describe based off of what you know about it. So you definitely should see that the word biological and molecule, both of those things you could define first. So on this paper, what you're going to do is on the back jot down some notes about what you know about biological molecules. So if you remember, biological molecules, you could even say macromolecules. If you remember back from first quarter, are things, these are molecules that are found in every living thing on the planet. And so what you want to do is jot this stuff down on the back of your paper, that the first thing, and I won't write it all out, so you write it out and press pause, but all living things contain these 4 biological macromolecules. Okay, so if you remember from first quarter, we learned that one of the macromolecules is carbohydrates, the other is lipids, the other one is proteins, and the other one is nucleic acids. So all living things on the planet have these. Okay, so anything from a manatee to a chicken to a dog to an oak tree, you know, all living things have it, even bacteria. So what I verbally said and didn't write down, you should still write down. So you should write it out: carbohydrate, lipid, protein, nucleic acids. So that's what we did first, is we identified something in the question that's science-y and we're describing it. And now we want to figure out, well, what of these, what of those macromolecules that we listed is this one? So what you can say is, hopefully you're thinking, oh, it looks like DNA. So DNA is actually a type of nucleic acid. So we're going to focus on this macromolecule now. So nucleic acids carry hereditary information, so you should write that down. And in the picture, it looks like it's DNA, right? And one of the things about the picture that made students believe it was DNA, we want to find some evidence, to help support our claim that we think it's DNA. And the first thing is the double helical structure. So students wrote down that as a piece of evidence that it has a double helix, and in the picture it shows it. Another thing that students thought was the fact that there's 2 strands. You know what I mean? So here's one strand and here's the other strand. So there's 2 strands, and DNA is made of 2 strands. Okay, so this was like, thinking about what the question was asking, notes. And I want you to put a smile face by this now, and then also make a star that you will use this information in the reasoning of the CER. Okay, so just remember that you have this information. Now on your paper, you should have more than I have. So make sure that you go back and listen to me and write down everything, okay? Because I don't want to write down everything. Okay, so let's go back over here. So since we looked at that question, we decided it was DNA, that's our claim, okay? So our claim is to answer this question. Remember what biological molecule is pictured above. So the biological molecule pictured, and you guys can write this neater, is DNA. Okay, so do we have evidence to support that claim? Well, if you think about it, we talked about the fact that it's a double helix, and we know that DNA has a double helix. That's the shape it takes on. And we also said that there's 2 strands. Okay, so that means that it has like 2 strands and they're helical. So these are 2 pieces of information or evidence, right, that will help support this claim. Okay, now is the reasoning. So the reasoning part, what you want to do, and I want you to do this on your own, I want you to start out your reasoning, and this is just a scaffold. So this is just to help you organize your thoughts and set up the reasoning in an organized manner. So the first thing you want to do is kind of do like an intro sentence or 2 about the scientific information that you pulled out of the question in the very beginning. Well, where do we get that scientific information? Well, if we turn our paper over, this is our scientific information. So you want to start out your reasoning, you guys, with the fact, something along the lines of, all living things on the planet are made of biological macromolecules. And then you would list them out. And then you'd say something along the lines of, in your second sentence, that the image pictured is one type of biological macromolecule, specifically a nucleic acid called DNA. All right? So that's your scientific information intro. 1 to 2 sentences, something like that. Then you want to support that with data. So you would say in your next sentence something like, the image shows a double helical shape and 2 strands. Okay, so there you go with that. And then you would conclude it with, therefore, the biological molecule pictured is DNA. Okay, so the data and evidence could almost be tied together in one sentence. And then this intro part is like 1 to 2 sentences. So it's like an introduction, you've got some evidence and data, and then you're concluding it by wrapping it back around to what you're claiming. Therefore, the biological molecule pictured is DNA. Okay? All right, I hope that helps you. So you'll be turning this in with the rest of your review packet. And you'll be doing this part on your own right now. Okay? All right, take care.